everyone. Welcome to a midweek Bible study as we follow up on this past Sunday's message. If you missed this past Sunday's sermon, go to our website, discovercommunity.org, our YouTube page. If you're on Facebook, find it on our Facebook page. Or also look for the church email that this will be in. There would also have been a link to the sermon. Make sure you watch that first because we started a new series. We're beginning a series on the book of Joshua, and so this past Sunday we established kind of the background of Joshua, and then we looked at the first 9 verses and how we already see 2 of the primary themes of Joshua in those 9 verses. In this study, though, in this video, I want to draw attention to a small detail in the first 2 verses that's kind of quick, or it'd be easy, rather, to quickly gloss over it, but I want to draw our attention to it for a moment and tie it to some other passages, some other stories that we see in Scripture, and use it to really remind ourselves of an essential truth of God and who He is and His plan for our lives. So this is Joshua 1, starting in verse 1. After the death of Moses, the servant of the Lord said to Joshua, the son of Nun, Moses' assistant, "Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise, go." And I think that just kind of stating of the facts by God is such, and I said that in such a passive voice, which is weird, but God so clearly stating those facts and then moving right on to he says, "Look, Moses, my servant, is dead. Now therefore arise and go." And it's just this wonderful reminder to me that what we deem to be monumental, and I'm not talking about the emotional impact, right? The death of someone is a monumental emotional impact. Losing a job, moving, if God calls you to move from, the East Coast to the West Coast to a foreign country, stuff like that. Like these things that happen in our lives that feel monumental they're emotionally impactful in our lives. They're significant events. You look back in the end of Deuteronomy 34 and you see the people of Israel deeply grieving the loss of Moses. And I think that's appropriate to grieve. But what would have been inappropriate is if in their grief they refused to go forward. And so I love that God says, yes, this happened, but this is still part of my plan. And the next step of my plan is that you arise and go. It makes me think of Isaiah chapter 6, verse 1. Isaiah writes, "In the year that King Uzziah died, I saw the Lord sitting upon a throne high and lifted up, and the train of his robe filled the temple." Uzziah was a very popular king. Just like Moses was immensely popular in the people of Israel, Uzziah was a very popular king who the people had done well under his leadership. And so Isaiah is pointing out in chapter 6 that in this year of an event that we may deem catastrophic, God is still on his throne. This is still part of his plan. This is not surprising to him. Think of the disciples in the New Testament. Jesus dies and they're hidden, they're locked away in an upper room, afraid of what's going to happen next. That was part of the plan. And so just even that detail of God speaking to Joshua and saying, yes, Moses, my servant, has died. Now therefore arise and go, is just that reminder of God knows the next step. We might not always know the next step. The step we're currently on, the phase we're currently on, the season we're currently in, however you want to describe it, where we currently are, it may seem like that looms so large that we can't possibly see past it. We can't see the next step. We can't see what's ahead. But God does. God sees it because He knows it, because He planned it, because He ordained it, because He willed it. And so it's just even those details like that are such a powerful reminder to myself as I read through this that God's in control and that it's not about knowing everything ourselves. It's about responding in faith and obedience to what God calls us to, even in situations like the year that King Uzziah died, even in situations like when Moses dies. It's about responding in obedience to what God calls us. And so I love that God includes that in his conversation with Joshua as just a reminder to us that it's all part of his plan. He's not caught off guard by it. He knows, and he's sovereign. May that be an encouragement to you this week. Don't forget about the reading plan. Continue to read through that. Again, we've given it out physically. We sent out emails. If you still don't have it, reach out. We'll get you the reading plan. But continue to read through Joshua. Talk about it with your friends, your family. Let's have conversations. Let's use this to help foster not only our own personal growth, but growth and depth of relationship with one another and conversation with one another as we study the Word together. Hope you're having a great week. We'll see you all Sunday. Bye.